My Singing Monsters is a franchise with a large range of different characters, all being unique and interesting in their own way. But out of all of these monsters, which one is the single most loved in the community, and which one is the most hated? Well, today we are going to find out. I ran an experiment that should give us a general understanding on what the most liked monster is, and what the least liked monster is. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So in order to do this, I created a Google form with two simple questions: what is your favorite monster, and what is your least favorite monster? The cool thing about Google Forms is it shows the answers from most popular to least popular, meaning we can see the amount of people that voted for a specific monster. Now obviously it's impossible to get every single person who plays MSM to answer this question, but we should be able to get an approximate answer from a few thousand people. Now that the Google form is done, all I had to do was advertise it to my viewers. I made a video explaining everything and the answers started flooding in. After some time, we had over 4,300 responses, which is a lot more than I was expecting. So without further ado, let's go over some of the data. Before we get to the least popular and most popular, let's look at some of the monsters in the middle. These monsters are neutral, not too much hated and not too much liked. Near the middle is Noggin, with about 50 votes for both least favorite and most favorite. People listed Noggin as their least favorite due to it being boring and too basic, but the people who chose it as their favorite have memories with this monster due to it being the first monster you obtain, which makes it very fitting that this monster is directly in the middle. Two other neutral monsters are Mammoth and Fwog, which is also very fitting since these are two monsters you get very early in the game. Mammoth is considered to many people to be the MSM mascot, and Fwog is a very liked monster in the community. These two monsters both have around 50 votes for favorite monster. Another monster that's pretty popular among fans is Maw. However, I was surprised to see over 30 votes for Maw as the least favorite. I guess there's some Maw haters out there. Another monster with a decent amount of votes is T-Rox, with around 30 votes. Punklutton was the second most favorited seasonal with approximately 50 votes, getting beaten by Monculus, who we will reveal the votes for when we get a bit higher. Going a bit lower on responses now, we have the slightly below average monsters. Starting with Fiddle and Mimic, who both had around 20 votes for favorite monsters and 15 for least favorite. Toejammer had a decent amount of votes for both favorite and least favorite, with over 20 votes for least favorite. I guess his wiggly toes can be off-putting for some people. Yostrich is hated by some and also loved by some. Around 15 people voted for Yostrich as their favorite monster, but 11 voted it as their least favorite. Going even lower, we have Screamo. Around 20 people seem to not like Screamo's sound very much. Some describe him as creepy, yet there are also a few people who consider him as not only their favorite Wublin, but their favorite monster. However, there are a bit more haters than lovers when it comes to Screamo. Similarly, we have Dinchaz, which some people find annoying, explaining why they have over 20 least favorite responses. Now we're going even lower, with the monsters that have a lot more haters than supporters. Starting off with Dermot, who has around 20 responses for least favorite, and only a couple of responses for most favorite. Some people also dislike Blabbit with around 23 least favorite votes. Some people don't like its sound and design and consider it the worst seasonal, although it is not the most hated seasonal. The most hated mythicals are Schlepp and Pinghound, who both have over 100 submissions for least favorite. However, there were more people who said Schlepp is their favorite than there were who said Pinghound was their favorite, so I think that Schlepp is slightly more loved than Pinghound. Although Pinghound is not my favorite monster, let's all give him some love, poor guy. The most hated Wublin is Scargo and Creepskill with over 60 submissions for least favorite, and little to no submissions for most favorite. Over 60 people voted Hula as their least favorite. However, a decent amount of people voted it as their favorite, so it cancels out, making Gobbledygord the most hated seasonal with almost 100 votes. Poor Gobbledygord. Over 60 people voted Inkrat as their least favorite. I personally really like Ant Brat, so it's sad to see he has so many haters. With almost 80 votes we have Barb. I guess some people don't like its raspy voice and big forehead. With around 90 votes we have the Dipsters. Many people hate on the Dipsters for ruining the songs they are in and being annoying. However, the hate for Dipsters have definitely decreased over the years and people started to like them a bit more. Next is Boscos with around 100 votes. You guys better be careful or angry Boscos will get you. Next is Pummel surprisingly, who has over 105 votes for least favorite. I didn't know Pummel had this many haters. Same with Scups, who has around 120 votes. Some people don't really like Scups' sound and think it just sounds like farting, which I understand. We're almost at the least favorite monster. Just 2 more. Second to last we have Traying, with over 130 votes. People don't like Traying because he is underwhelming and many people find him boring. Me personally, I have always liked Traying and found his gimmick really funny because he is a quad and very big and buff yet makes a tiny subtle sound. Finally, for the most hated monster, we have Wink. Ever since Wink released, people have been hating on it for having a weird voice and not adding a lot to the song. Its introduction to Amber Island only increased this hate due to many people thinking it ruined Amber Island's song. Everyone comment RIP Wink. Now let's start going upwards from the middle and make our way up to the top. Starting with Flugel, who has over 50 votes. I can respect this because Flugel is my second favorite monster. Above Flugel is Yorick with around 60 votes. Yorick is my favorite ethereal workshop monster, so I respect this. Near Yorick we have Pango with around 57 votes. However, I have a feeling these people only put this because it's my forum. But hey, Pango is the best monster, so I respect it. The most favorited seasonal monster is Monculus with over 60 votes. Next to Monculus is Hi-Hi and Bogart with over 70 votes. Then we have Gez with over 80 votes, which is the most popular single element ethereal. No surprise here. However, this is slightly less than the most voted ethereal, who is Ogler with over 90 votes. Ogler is definitely a very cool monster. Next is the most iconic monster of MSM, Furcorn, with over 100 votes. I mean, he is the mascot of MSM, so I think this is deserved. After Furcorn we have Wabox with 105 votes. Of course Wabox is up here, and of course next is Rare Wabox with a slightly more than regular Wabox. Now here's where it gets confusing. Because if we counted all of the different epic Wabox forms as one monster, this would be the most favorited monster. However, each epic Wabox is unique in their own way, so I think it's fair if we count them as separate monsters. So the order of these monsters from least favorite to most favorite is Cold Epic Wabox, Plant Epic Wabox, Water Epic Wabox, Earth Epic Wabox, and Gold Epic Wabox. Air Wabox is unfortunately not very liked. And finally, the most favorited monster in MSM according to these votes of over 4,000 people, drum roll please. Buzzinga. I was really not expecting this, but now that I think about it I do see tons of Buzzinga fans. Ever since Buzzinga was released, people were in love with it due to its cute design and nice sound. Although it's definitely not my favorite, Buzzinga is a great monster who is definitely a very liked monster in the community, if not the most favorited. Although these results may not be 100% accurate, this experiment gave us an approximate answer as to who the least favorite and most favorite monster in MSM are. So if you found this video interesting, entertaining, or are just feeling generous today, consider dropping a like on it, and subscribe to my channel. It helps out a lot. Check out my other socials linked in the description, and I will see all of you wonderful people in my next video. Goodbye.